Okay, so now that you have created your welcome email and you have given people what they have opted in for, now what you can do is you can build and gain their trust further. So obviously, a majority of times when somebody signs up to your email opt-in list, they will not buy at that given moment, and that's fine. So what we want to do is we want to build and gain their trust, and eventually they will buy. Now, what kind of emails can you write in between the welcome email and the closing email? And that's what we are brought to benefit angles. So benefit angles, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more different emails in between. And the purpose of these emails is to show people the benefits or the answer to the question, what's in it for me? Which is what your viewers are going to be asking. So if you can answer these in many different ways, you can look at your product or service and see what are the benefits to them actually buying your product or service. Does it solve a pain? Does it save time? Does it save money? And things like that. So I'll actually give you some ideas on different benefit angles that you can apply to your email course. So as I stated, angles are formed out of benefits of your product or service. You don't have to have just 2 benefit emails. You can have more. You can have up to 5, up to 6, or how many that you wish. I typically like to start out with 2 to 3. And if I feel like, the conversions are doing really well, I might add more or just test it and see how things go. Now, if you're using a timer at the very end, for example, if you're using a countdown timer and you're closing it at the very end, I would probably try to keep it to a max of 3 to 4 benefit emails. If you want to test it with more emails, that's fine. But generally speaking, I find 3 to 4 emails is a sweet spot if you are using a timer. If you're not using a timer at the very end, meaning if you're not going to close down your offer at the very end, then you can use 5, 6, 7, 8 or more benefit emails. So here are some different angles that you can use. And keep in mind that every single email that you have that sends out per day should not contain more than one different angle. So if one of the angles is like save time, you might want to focus on that and that alone. And then the second day or third day have a different angle. So just keep that in mind. So different angles that you can use are like saves time. So your product or service can save time in some form or some way. Or maybe it saves money. Or it makes them more money. Or it allows them to do more with their time. So as you can see, these angles can actually relate to each and every one of them. It prevents headaches. It solves what problem? And it solves what pain? So obviously you can get into a lot more depth within your product or service, depending on what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to get them to take action with, and you can apply that to your company. So these are different angles that you can use, and if you want to just pick and choose 3 to 4 and just run with it, you'll see in just a minute how I write the benefit emails, and then you can apply that to your own product or service. So let's take a look at an email that you can actually swipe and fill in the information with your own products or services. So the goal is by the end of this whole video course, you should have an email course written up. So let me go ahead and show you that right now. All right, so the key to the benefit angle emails are that they're short and sweet, but they focus really on one specific angle at a time. Do not make the mistake of trying to combine too many angles in one email. The goal here is just take the benefit angles that you created previously, and then you can simply utilize, reuse this email over and over again. And you'll see in just a minute how you can tweak it a little bit to make it unique, but at the same time, it'll pretty much be the same email. Now, the subject line, keep it simple. So it's going to be the benefit angle number 1 headline. So, how to lose weight, or how to do this, or how to do that and try to make it interesting. You can add things like discover how to do this, or powerful new solution to do this. Just keep it interesting, but keep it short. Then you can say, hey, first name, missed the webinar replay, ? Go here and put your webinar replay link right here. So generally speaking, you want to sprinkle it all throughout. So if somebody is in a rush, they can just click on that and go straight there. So some people will be in a rush, they'll click that link. Some people need a little bit more convincing, so that's why this is here. So you can say, during this presentation, you'll discover the real secrets to benefit angle number 1. So save time, saving money, or saving something, or solving something. And then what you want to do is you want to elaborate on that benefit number 1. So write some details about why benefit angle number 1, or number 2, or 3, or 4, or 5 is what they want ASAP, or as soon as possible. So obviously this little blurb here is just addressing you to write some details about benefit angle number 1. So you can create bullets of why and elaborate further in detail. Then you can write something that happens only on the webinar itself. So obviously this is addressed to you. You can say something like, you'll learn this sneaky but weird trick on the webinar on how to ... And the reason why you do that is you're kind of giving a sneak peek preview of what's on the webinar itself. So that kind of gives them an idea of, okay, I definitely want to watch the webinar replay because of this. And then of course, don't forget to get them to take action again. So you can watch the private replay here, replay link here, warm regards, put your name. You can put tomorrow, or in 2 days, I'll be sending you more information on how to, and then benefit angle number 2, and so forth. So now if you have several benefit emails, then obviously you'll have several of these. Okay, so this is obviously for number 1. So if you're done with number 1, number 2 is just the same. And then we just replace it with number 2. And if this is number 2, then obviously we change this, bump it up, +1, to number 3. And of course, if this is number 3, then the PS, or sneak peek preview, would be +1, number 4. And if you don't have number 4, then of course you can always remove this and get them to take action again. So that's really what it comes down to when it comes to the benefit emails. Nothing complex at all. Very, very simple. And that's how you want it, because most people don't have a lot of time to read. But if as much education as possible, if you can give some free tips, then you can justify it being a little bit longer. Okay, so now that you understand how to do this, let's move on to the next video.